Happy Friday morning, January 30th. Let's get you going here and out the door as we are watching our winter storm unfold. Winter storm warning now in place for much of the state of South Carolina. That's new this morning with locally heavy snow expected in some areas. The amount forecast is ready to rock and roll for you. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few. With a gusty wind and extremely cold air all on the table, that means moderate to major winter storm impacts across the state of South Carolina for this event. This is going to be a big-time snow machine for a lot of folks. For others, though, there may be some variations. I'm going to show you that and what I'm talking about here. Simulated radar, let's put a timeline down on this. Friday evening looks fine. Shouldn't be any problems. By midnight, though, we're probably going to start to see some streaks of snow showers and maybe even a few raindrops mixing in across the state. By morning, though, that shield of snow is beginning to solidify and develop across the upper part of the state with some scattered showers as you get farther east toward the low country and the Grand Strand. But here's the thing. The rain, if it's mixing in, it won't last long. This will quickly transition over to all snow because the air is so cold and so dry. As those liquid raindrops fall through it, evaporational cooling will really kick in and it'll zap all that warm air that's aloft and switch this over to snow pretty quickly. By the middle part of the day, it looks like a good part of the state's going to be seeing occasional light to moderate snow, if not steady light to moderate snow with some heavier bands embedded. But I do want to point out something here. Notice kind of the streaky look in that simulated radar. That's my concern with the snowfall amount forecast, is that there could be some wide variations over just a few miles. Okay, and those band placements are going to make a lot of difference in this, where some get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of snow, while others get 1, 2, or 3 if they get anything at all other than a coating. Now, I think that's more of an extreme case that you would just get a little dusting, but I think there will be some spots that get that because of the nature of this particular setup. As we move into the evening, it's snowing across most of the state with some pretty decent banding. There will be some heavy snow embedded in this. By the time we get to midnight, things are starting to wind down and the snow shuts off pretty much statewide after midnight. We're all done with this before sunrise. General expected snow totals, notice I have pointed out right there, localized amounts may vary. This is an overview of the general idea of how I think this will unfold, okay? So let's walk you through this across the state. Anderson, Greenville, Greenwood, about 4 to 6 inches. Same thing for Newberry and Edgefield and Aiken. Spartanburg, over to Winnsboro. Columbia, you're going to be 4 to 6, 6 to 8 in that range. 6 to 8 Lancaster, to Bennettsville, Florence, over to Anor and Myrtle Beach and Murrells Inlet, even down to Georgetown, Kingstree. 6 to 8 is a good range based off of what we see right now. From Moncks Corner over to northern parts of Charleston County, could see as much as 4 to 6. Inside the Charleston Metro, I'm thinking our range is going to be more like 2 to 4. Walterboro back to Hampton, about 1 to 2, and then less than an inch once you get south of there down toward Beaufort, or about an inch or less down there toward Beaufort and Savannah. Remember, banding will play a key role here. So you may go 1 or 2 miles away from your place and you may see 3, 4 inches of snow. And then 2 or 3 miles down the road, maybe 1 or 2. Then 2 or 3 miles down the road, maybe 4 to 6. There's going to be wide variations here. And there's going to be a pretty sharp cutoff, too, on the southern end of this. And any subtle change, let's say 20, 30 miles here, north or south, is going to make a huge difference. And that's particularly going to be across the southern part of the state, from Charleston, Walterboro, Hampton. Just any subtle movement here could really pick up your totals or cut them down. Unfortunately, that's just where we are with this. In addition to the snow, wind is going to be a big issue. Wind gusts up to 30 to 35 miles per hour. So that's going to be blowing this snow around. This snow is different than what we're used to. We're used to heavy, wet snow. You know, those big snowflakes that stick to everything and they compact and even stick to the trees and power lines. Well, that's not going to be the case with this. This is a dusty snow. It's going to be flying all around. These are going to be fine snowflakes, but they'll be coming down at a good rate. So this is going to be a little different. So with those high wind speeds, that's going to create some visibility issues for us. And then when you combine that with morning lows Sunday between, let's say, 8 and 12 in the upstate, 12 to 16, the Midlands and the PD, 14 to 18 in the Grand Strand, 16 to 20 in the Low Country. This is what you get. There are going to be areas with wind chill values below zero Sunday morning. Let's say from Greenville, Spartanburg over toward Lancaster, Rock Hill, into the PD. Below zero wind chill values are possible. Even parts of maybe around Columbia, near zero, with single digits quite common across the low country. This is bitter cold. This is frostbite material, okay? So that's why we've got to be really careful Sunday morning. This winter storm with snow, wind, reducing the visibilities and creating blowing snow, and then that very, very cold air, those three things, that's why the National Weather Service has us with that moderate to major impact for a winter storm over the weekend. Afternoon high Sunday should creep above freezing into the mid and upper 30s, the Midlands to the low country, probably around 30 to 34 in the PD and Grand Strand, 32 to 36 in the upstate. The sun is going to do a good job of trying to scour out some of the snowfall during the day Sunday. Even though temperatures are only going to be just above freezing, the dry snow reacts to sun a lot more quickly than that heavy wet snow does that compacts. This is just going to kind of blow around and it'll evaporate in some cases too. I still think though there will probably be enough snow on the ground particularly in the northern upstate, northern Midlands, PD, and Grand Strand, to where it may linger into Monday or maybe even Tuesday. But the rest of the state, a lot of this is going to start to chip away pretty steadily Sunday and probably all gone by Monday, except on some shady areas and sheltered spots. But this isn't going to be something that lingers for a week. I want you to make sure you're clear of that. Morning lows Monday are going to be bitter cold. 8 to 12 across the upstate, 8 to 12 across the PD, 8 to 14 in the Grand Strand, 12 to 16 for the state capital. You're looking at about 16 to 20 degrees for the low country Monday morning. Yeah, that's brutal. And then as we head into the afternoon on Monday, temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s, low 40s in the upstate, low to mid 40s in the Midlands, low to mid 40s in the low country, mid 30s to near 40 in the PD and Grand Strand. With this being a dry snow, that's really going to help to chip away at what's on the ground. And like I said, I think by Tuesday or so, we're probably going to be in business with most everything getting back to close to normal. I hope. It's been a while since we've seen a heavy dry snow like this. So I want to be cautious to say that. But my hope is by Tuesday, everything's back to normal. So prepare for accumulating snow. The heaviest likely along and northeast of a line from Spartanburg to Camden to Florence to Murrells Inlet. Could be wide variations in amounts over short distances. Make sure you're preparing for blowing snow. There could be some drifts. I know that's weird to say here in the Carolinas, but there could be, especially up across the PD and Grand Strand, and definitely reduced visibility. This is a dry snow, likely won't linger more than a couple of days, but in some areas that don't get a lot of sun, it could stay on the ground longer because it's going to be so cold. But hopefully by early next week, let's say by Tuesday or so, everything's gone. And remember, bitter cold is a major concern. So that's where we see it right now. We're continuing to make adjustments. Just kind of stick with me here as we go through the day today and into tonight and tomorrow. There will be some more adjustments. This is a different situation than what we're normally used to here. So just give some grace on some adjustments here and how this may work out. But I do think the vast majority of us are going to see an accumulating snow. It's going to be a dry snow. That's a fun snow. That's not something that takes down power lines. It's not something that brings down trees. It's not messy, but it will be impactful, okay? It's going to slow down commerce Monday, most likely. We're going to have some issues. And then that bitter cold air, that's another major concern. That impacts everybody. Even if you don't even get a trace of snow, which I think most of you will at least see something, you're still going to have to deal with that bitter cold air. So we'll keep you updated. If anything else needs to come out, I'll let you know. Stick with me here today and tomorrow, and I'll see you around.